that what you're seeing there is live footage from the Gudu Cemetery in Abuja, in the Abuja environment, where the late Chief of Staff to the President is being laid to rest. Quite a number of people there. We spoke to our correspondent earlier who told us about a lot of people not really paying attention to the social distancing matter, maybe to pay their last respects. But that's coming from his live feed from the laying to rest of the late Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, being laid to rest there. You know, the news of his passing broke yesterday, but before that, there was a period when there were a lot of speculations out. Was he infected by the coronavirus? Was he not infected by the coronavirus? Eventually, he himself came out to say, yes, he's been infected, and he's taking care of himself in a private, taking care of himself privately, and all of that. Then eventually we understood he was brought into Lagos and the process and all of that. But eventually, it took his life. And so yesterday the news broke that the Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, had passed, and that's his remains being laid to rest.
And it is our hope that this will send a message to those who think that this thing is a joke, because now you actually know somebody who has passed from it. Maybe you'll pay more attention and wash your hands and do all the things that NCDC and the medical people say that we should do so that we can stay alive.
Social distancing is one of the things that the NCDC has talked about. We've had persons here today on the show talk about social distancing, but not emotional distancing. Talked about the fact that we need to wash our hands, use sanitizers, drink a lot of water, eat healthy while you're practicing all of this. Be healthy as much as possible. Mentally, emotionally, be healthy. And all. Yeah. So footage from the final rights of the late Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, in the Abuja environment. Later on, we'll be talking to our correspondent, Ibrahim Adra, who is there at the moment. We'll be speaking to him later on. We'll just let you have a few seconds of this. We'll stay with this picture for a few more seconds and then...
Yes. No, I'm stretching my hand. Yes, it's because I'm talking to
Shino soiwa, I'm looking at display. My lossy men put the weather my shoe. Yeah, like you say, on. Wow. Me man continue on one. Move to buy learns. Uncle Lower Jumbe and Shari.
This side, huh?
Dan karo mana ganyen nan kawai karo shi dogon Dali. Yawa.
Ani ko za su cire sai a cire yawo.
A kawo shi zai danne ne nake gana sau daga ruwan sama da tabe nan tare tsakiya dali wannan saurayi mun
Ka sassa ka danna shi.
gefen sanar ruwa zai shiga
Shikenan.
yawa baba daure ba yawa
He's warning me that the temperature is high. That's why you saw the thing doing that. What we doing is
Are they still on?
It's not because I have to copy from that's it. My phone is there.
Taking your card one. Sir?
Who is it? The one commenting. Yeah, I can hear you.
What is
I can hear you.
Most of them let people know the meter.
I can hear you.
It's not him. I've been speaking to him. He will be again when I say 100, and he will have to watch it.
Yes. I can hear you.
Hello?
Safer.
What's the status? What do you need?
Well, these are what the footage you're seeing is live footage from the burial rites of the late Chief of Staff to the President, Mr. Abba Kyari, who died on the 17th of April 2020. He's believed to be in his 70s. According to the Guardian newspapers, his official age is not available said not to be available. He was a Nigerian politician who served as the Chief of Staff to the President. Mr. Kyari, before he fell ill, had traveled to Germany and to Egypt for certain meetings that involved the power sector, and he came back and fell ill. It's said that he had underlying health problems, including diabetes, which is one of the high-ranking officials. He has been considered one of the most powerful politicians in the country, but he's also one person who is said to have served through many administrations. Said to have contracted the coronavirus while on an official trip to Germany in March. He was confirmed to have contracted the virus on March the 23rd. That was revealed on March the 30th and announced that he died on the 17th of April 2020. Mr. Abba Kyari is a Kanuri from Borno State. In the 80s, he graduated with a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Warwick and also received a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Cambridge. In 1983, he was called to the Nigerian bar after attending the Nigerian Law School. In 1984, he obtained a master's degree in law from the University of Cambridge. He later attended the International Institute for Management Development in Lausanne, Switzerland, and participated in the program for management development at the Harvard Business School in 1992 and 1994. He was married to the sister-in-law of Ibrahim Tahir and had 4 children. On March 24th, 2020, it was made public that Mr. Kyari had been infected with the coronavirus. He worked for the law firm Abba Kyari and Shuemimo for some time after his return to Nigeria. From 1998 to 1990, he was editor with the New Africa Holdings Limited, Kaduna. In 1990, he served as a commissioner for forestry and animal resources in Borno State. From 1990 to 1995, Mr. Kyari was the secretary to the board of African International Bank Limited, a subsidiary of Bank of Credit and Commerce International. He was an executive director in charge of management services at the United Bank for Africa and was later appointed the chief executive officer. In 2002, he was appointed a board director of Unilever Nigeria and later served on the board of ExxonMobil Nigeria. In August 2015, Mr. Kyari was appointed Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. He was an influential figure within the Buhari administration. During the administration's first term, he worked mainly behind the scenes to implement the president's agenda. In 2019, with president's re-election for a second term, he ordered his cabinet to channel all requests through Mr. Kyari's office, further enhancing his influence within the government circles and being labeled as the de facto head of government. In 2017, following a leaked memo, Mr. Kyari became embroiled in a public argument with the head of civil service, who was later removed from office and arrested. In 2020, in another leaked memo, Babagana Munguno, the national security advisor, accused Mr. Kyari of meddling in matters of national security, but that matter had been sorted out in the corridors of power. Amongst his honors, he was he received the honor of the Officer of the Order of the Niger, that's the OON, an honor here in Nigeria. Mr. Kyari died on April 17, 2020 from complications related to the COVID-19.
ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد da turanci zai ko da Hausa so a takaice dan uwa muka zo muka binne a wurin kuma mutuwa da ta dauki ransa za ta dawo kuma kowa daga cikinmu za ta ziyarce shi ko ba daɗe ko ba jima ba a tabbata a duniyan nan shi yasa annabi tsira da aminci tabbata a gare shi ya ga an binne wani mutum kamar haka ana kuka sai ya zo ya samu wanda suke janazan sai yake ce musu ya ikhwani limithli hadha fa'iddu ya ku yan uwana da kwatankwacin abin da kuke wa dan uwanku nan to kowa ya tanadi saboda yau an kawo ne jiya an kawo ne jibi an kawo ne ka dai sai watakila akalla mutum 100 makabarta ko sama da haka to akwai ranar da kuma mu za a kawo ba zai mu gama rayuwar duniya mu muna kawo wasu ba akwai ranar da mu din za a kawo abun ne so wannan bil hakika mutuwa wa'azi ne yasa cikin abubuwa da manzon Allah tsira da amincin tabbata a gare shi abin da ya kira na wa'azi ya ce akwai mutuwa a ciki na biyu ina kyautata masa zato cewa bisa ga bayanan da na samu jiya awar da rasu kusan awa ne a cikin ranar juma'a manzo Allah ya kira daga cikin alamar kyakkyawan karshe na mutum yayi nasara a barin duniya shine ya rasu ranar juma'a na biyu na daga cikin shahada manzo Allah ya ce dukkan wanda annoba ta kashe shi in dai mai imani ne to yayi shahada ne so bil hakika waɗannan abubuwa guda biyu manya ne na farko rasuwa juma'a na biyu rasuwa dalilin annoba shahada ne yasa annabi yake cewa idan annoba ta zo wanda ta dauki ransa in mai imani ne ma min abdin ya qa'u fi ta'un fa yamkusu fi baladihi sabiran yahtasibu annahu la yusibuhu illa ma kataba Allah lahu illa kana lahu mithlu ajri shahid duk wanda ta dauki rayuwarsa ba a ce mutum yayi ganganci ya mutu ba amma mutum ya dauki dukkan precautions zai iya yi ta zama sanadin rasuwarsa to insha Allah ta'ala dole na abubuwa guda biyu abin masa kuma rasuwa a juma'a da kuma dalilin annoba da hakika waɗannan ni'imomi ne wanda ba kowa Allah ta'ala yake bawa ba muna
Yeah, we're already doing that. Are you guys on us?
iyayenmu da suke wurin da kuma wanda suke shugabanni duka auren sun ba da shawarar ba bukatar yanzu komawa a matsayin karɓan gaisuwa saboda promoting social distancing daga nan kusan kowa an sallame shi ba zai kuma dawo a zauna ana ci gaba da karban gaisuwa ba saboda daman mafiya yawan karban gaisuwa din gaskiya al'ada ne to ba ma wani abu ne da yake da matsayin a cikin addini ba kawai ka'ida wanda ka san an masa rasuwa ko miji wacce ce ko baban wane ne ko abokin wane ne duk hanyar da ka samu kai ta'aziyya wannan iya da kyau so a cikin halin da muke ciki ko ta'aziyya ana iya yi da waya waɗanda kuma ake da kusanci da su to ba sai an je waje ɗaya an taru ba to kula ga wannan an yafe wa kowa insha Allah ta'ala daga ran kowa yana iya tafiya Allah subhanahu wata'ala kawo mana karshen annoba din Allah subhanahu wata'ala wanda suka rasu Allah ya sa su yi shahada mu da muke raye Allah ta'ala ya sa karshen idan yayi addu'a ya kammala sai ya tafi abinsa to da haka yanzu abu na karshe ana bukatar kowa daga cikin mu ya daga hannunsa ya kalli alƙibla ya masa addu'a na Allah ya gafarta masa in mutum ya kammala daga nan sai mu tafi to kowa zai addu'a sa ne ta gaske mutum sai insha Allah Allah ya gafarta masa ya bai masa I have said here, firstly, religiously, this is an admonition. When your cable won't go there. It will be an admonition to all of us. Because one thing we are going to discuss. The way we have buried him here, a day will stop, but another person...
Microphone should go.
And secondly, as I said, religious, whoever and secondly, whoever dies because of any pandemic or epidemic, another side of the head. So these two, at least, are signs of
Let me go.
stress.
Sir.
This is our fire. Oh, Ibrahim. People are going to
Don't do Jerry. Let's move.
Yo.